Hi, I'm Alex Brown.
And I'm Nicole Smithee. We're the co-founders of Iridescent Women, an online community committed to awakening brilliance in each other through real and honest conversations and connections.
Today we're having a conversation around how do you support your friends going through different seasons?
Such a good one and so timely because today is Galentine's Day.
Happy Galentine's Day!
Happy Galentine's Day, friend.
Yeah, I love this. I think that this is such an important conversation because it's so easy for us to all have friends who are all at very different stages of life.
It happens.
And it can be difficult when you see your friend going through a different season or a change, and it might affect you or it might change the relationship. So how do you actually navigate that and either recognize that maybe that friendship was only just for that season or keep that friendship strong? I mean, you recently had a few changes. Well, recently, in the last few years, you had quite drastic changes of moving to a new city, getting married.
Yeah.
How did that affect your friendships?
Yeah, those were both two different big life changes for me. Moving from West Coast to East Coast, from LA to New York, the friends that I had had rich relationship with, I mean, some of these friendships are more than a decade old. I could no longer just, text them and we'd meet up at our local coffee shop. Right. Or I know that I would see them in a couple days and they could read my face and I wouldn't have to actually really tell them much. We could just jump in. That dynamic shifted, and it was lonely at first, like, oh no, I'm losing my friends. But what it really meant for our friendships, and I'm so grateful for friends who are willing to do this with me, is like we just had to be more intentional. So even though that distance was there, I think I learned from that change of season that intentionality is really key in a friendship, and both people need to prioritize it and be flexible to make sure that the friendship is a priority. And that might not always mean getting what you want, like the amount of time you want or the closeness that you want. Like, sure, I want to be still near my friends that I've known forever, but now it looks like a phone call and taking the time to do that, even, and not rushing that conversation, and making sure that we're both reaching out to each other. And I'm really grateful that some of my friendships have really withstood a transition like that because of that intentionality. And you got to work for it. You know, I think I learned that in that season. Friendships are really easy when you're a kid. Right. Like, let's be real. And in
you're
school,
all in the same place.
Yeah, you just see each other every day at school. Really, the only standard for a good friendship, is just don't be a jerk to each other, right?
And then even then, sometimes you continue.
I'll see you tomorrow. We'll work it out. When you get older, all of a sudden past school, you graduate from college, and all of a sudden, careers change, and people go through different kinds of relationships and seasons, and life gets full and busy, and people relocate and get married, they have kids. All these things happen. Then you discover that, oh wow, friendships actually take work, and you have to be intentional about them. So I think that's what I learned from that season. And then when I got engaged and got married, some of my friends were still single, and some still are, and some now are married as well. And I think one of the things that I learned early on was, one, how gracious my friends were, because I was so excited about falling in love and then getting engaged and getting married that I found myself like always talking about it, or talking about it a little bit more than, I said I'd never be that person, and then all of a sudden I was that person, right? And I think my friends were really gracious about that and just celebrated with me and supported me, even though I knew that some of them, that just wasn't the season that they were in, and some of them might have wanted to be in that season. And so I was really grateful for that. But then I had to also start to become self-aware enough to be like, okay, I can't dominate the conversation with just where I'm at in my season. We've got to make room for everybody's season at the table in our friendship. And so I had to remind myself, like, hey, there's more than just me getting engaged or my marriage. There's my friend's career, or there's my friend's ambitions and goals, or her dating life,
which is
or her
equally
health.
as important to them.
Yeah, exactly. So I think you kind of have to learn that as you're at different seasons, of how to leave room for everybody to bring their season to the table, and there's room for it and space for it, and space to be real in it, and to encourage and support each other in it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've also recently gone through a life change of having a couple of babies.
I know, Biggie, you just became a mother of twins.
That's
so amazing.
So motherhood is definitely a huge change, and lots of navigating within that. But I love what you said about being self-aware, and that's something that I personally try and do all the time, of being aware of what my capacity is for my friendships right now. And I have an amazing community. I have amazing friends around me. So I want to invest in that and put the time in that. But I have such limited freedom and time now that I'm at mum in the space that I'm at, that I just have to be honest with them, of like, okay, I want to see you, but you might have to come to me. Or I want to see you, but it's going to have to be at this time because of feeds and schedules and all that kind of stuff. So And I think just being honest and saying, I really want to do this with you, but can you meet me where I'm at, has meant that I've been able to sustain a lot of these friendships, which you know, is such a blessing for me, because that's what I need in this season. But I also really just want to know what's going on in my friend's life. You know, I want to I think you use the word celebrate, and that's so important, is like to celebrate each other through these seasons. No one's changed. No one's season is better or worse than someone else's. You just want to like celebrate where they're at, or meet them where they're at, or even grieve with them where they're at. Like just be with people. Yeah, and I think that's so important in maintaining these seasons. I think it's so easy for us to also feel affected by change when our friends move on, or our friends go into a different season and we're not there. But by celebrating one another no matter what, I think that helps navigate those tricky situations too. I think it's like glue that keeps the friendship enduring, and makes room for a celebration that's going to come down the road for you too. You know, like one person's grieving, one person's celebrating. That's life, and making room for all of that. You can't compare. Like you can't go, oh well, you're getting married and I'm not, so I can't be there for you, or whatever the situation. Your career is progressing, or you're doing really great in this thing, and I'm still struggling here. I think we have to kind of eliminate comparison in friendship, and the word really celebrate. And I love that you brought honesty to the table as well. I think that's a great quality of enduring friendships, is the ability to be honest about what you can give in the friendship, and have really, really healthy expectations about what to receive in it. I think part of that honesty too is not assuming. So I do think that a lot of people have assumed that I'm not available, or I can't go out, or I can't do things.
You want to be asked still.
I want to at least be asked. Included. I might have to say no, but still include me. And so naturally friendships have changed in that way, because there's been an assumption. You know what, just talk to me, just be honest. You know, I think that's really important. Oh, this is so good. Well, hey, let's keep the conversation going. We want to hear from you. How have you been able to support your friends through different seasons? Let us know. And thanks for joining us. We really believe that these kind of conversations have the power to provoke change. So share your story, own your voice, and keep it real.